Hey, good afternoon, everybody. All right, so we're not exactly ready to start. However, I'll just oh, okay, we're ready. We're ready. All right, good afternoon again, everybody. I am Shani Campbell. I am your host for today, and I would just like to welcome you all to the third, third day of our Adobe Photoshop training session. Can you believe it? Day 3 already. So, without further ado, I'm just looking to make sure that our presenter is here. Let me check. In the meantime, yes, he's here. He's here. So for today, we have another informative, insightful, exciting, engaging session planned for you today. And it's in the capable hands of a young man who is a student athlete. See, big things, him have what things that him doing, big things, who studies economics so we know that tough. But not only does he study economics, he also does quantitative economics. First things first, I don't know what that is in no, sir, but I know that it is big. I know that it's really big. And in addition to that, he is a social media manager, a content creator at Your Media, and was the brain behind the regional freelance marketplace gigs.amob for. I hope I got that right. Upon leaving Trinidad, where he attended St. Mary's College, he is now the Guild Public Relations Officer of the UWI Cave Hill Guild after being elected in his first year. Congrats, sir. He is quite modest about his experience in communications and public relations. He's a guy who prefers to see the light side of things, a charismatic young man, a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, help me make welcome Mr. Osaze Moraldo Bowen. By the way, we need to have a talk, because I love communications and public relations. And you see, so like everything about this. So we need to have a talk. So
No,
guys,
no, of course.
send your
Uh,
claps, send your welcomes in the chat. So let's welcome Mr. Osaze Moraldo Bowen. The floor is yours, sir.
Hi, good day, everyone. You're hearing me, right?
Yes, we're hearing you. We're
Just
hearing you.
a quick question. When they have to ask questions, they'll type it in the chat or use the what's in on their mics.
They'll type it in the chat and one of our capable team members will relay the message to you.
Okay, no problem. Um, so hi guys. So what we'll be doing today is removing backgrounds, and I'll show you all a few tricks and some interesting fun stuff to do with the same tools I would use to remove backgrounds. So I guess in the meantime, you all could open up Photoshop. I know on some laptops it takes a while to open up compared to others. Yeah, Saints in the house. Let me share my screen. Let me know if you all see my screen.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Um, right, so so after you all open up Photoshop, you could go on open a new file. It doesn't matter the size, so I will just click the default. Just open a new file. Just white page. Boom. I like to put mine in the frame. Once everybody ready. Something to note though, just in general, like there's a lot of shortcuts that Photoshop has that makes it easier to use instead of moving around the mouse or whatever. So to zoom, what I did, because I have a normal PC, was just control and plus addition and zoom, and then the opposite will be minus to unzoom. I think you will know that. And so the first tool I want to show you all how to use is the pen tool. So the pen tool is, if you look here, you will see something looking like a felt tip pen. So you just click on that and the normal pen tool. The shortcut for this is P, the letter P on your keyboard, and just learn that. Just learn that P is the pen tool, and because it's a tool you would use very often. So once, I hope everyone following, because it's simple. So to use the pen tool, what you do is you just click one spot and then click another spot. And if you realize we have a straight line, it's that simple. Click on next spot, you have a next straight line, a next spot. And when making lines that you're going to use for borders, you always have to end where you start. So if I hover the mouse up here, you'll see a circle below the pen tool or next to it, and you just click that, and now like you have closed it. Is a complete thing. So this is just something very basic to select things. After you make something like this, create borders like this, you have to turn it into a selection. So I do right click, make selection, and you realize now it would be like, you know, some dotted lines and going around like that. This is just to make a selection. This is drawing borders, simple stuff. It's just something that you need to know how to do. I'll undo. To undo of it there, you could go on top here obviously, but as you know, it's a shortcut, so Control Z, well, Alt Control Z. Another thing to do with the pen tool, same tool, but now as you would know, if you're trying to outline something, obviously all the lines wouldn't be straight. I mean, unless you zoom in straight in to, you know, to get as close as possible. So when trying to draw a curved line, what you will do is same thing. So I click the first plot for the first starting point, and then when you go to the second point that you want the line, you click but you hold down. You don't let go. You don't release. So when I click here and I don't release, now if you all watch, you will see there are handles. This could help you set the line. You could, if you could play around with it to see all the different things you could do with your line. So I just gonna make a curved line here. And if you realize there's two handles, one on this side and one on this side. If I make a next point, let's say I make this point here, the point is the next line that I draw is influenced by this handle here. So and well, if I make a next point, close it off, it will be influenced again. So that could work, but if you want to do something else, you know, you might want to your line influenced by the face handle. But even before that, what you could do is you could press Control, and when you press the Control, you would see like your arrow change, and now you could manipulate the handle. Oh my gosh, oops. Is it Control or Control? Yeah. So you can manipulate the handle and, you know, change how it affects your line. I will go and draw a new one again. So curve line. If I want to draw a second line and I don't want it to at all be affected by the handle, what I do is click click Shift and the Shift. No, click Alt and go to the center of the handle, and there you will remove the handle so it doesn't affect the other line. So when I go here, I carry my mouse to the line, click Shift, you would see it changes. No, Shift, you would see it's supposed to change. Right, no, click Alt, it changes to a little arrow thingy. It doesn't have, this is when I'm not clicking Alt, and this is when I'm clicking Alt. You would see the difference. There's a kind of V, and it removes the handle. So now the next line I draw, if it's straight, it would just be a straight line, or or I could draw a next curved line and it will be totally unaffected by the line I drew before. So all this is just to get comfortable with your pen tool. In your own time, you could just use the pen tool, practice outline and stuff, because like Photoshop is a software. It's made for people to use and it's made for you to get better at it once you use it. It's simple. So now you don't need to save this. I could just X off this and we could open up the first image of the red car that you always sent. I have this in my desktop. All OMGB. And we can get somebody where we are. Does everybody have up the car? Right. No.
Hello. Sorry. In the email I got yesterday, I didn't get that. I didn't get that graphic.
So while you're pulling up the red car, I'll see. So to remove backgrounds, right? In removing backgrounds, there are multiple ways to do it. Like what you need to do is try to figure out which is the best way or which way might be the easiest for you. It would depend on what exactly you want to do. So I'll show you all a few ways, and then on our next image, we'll do another way, etc. But no, my Photoshop not opening. It's rendering large document. Remember I said open and not place, or import. It shouldn't have any problems opening. But while you're doing that, so what's important to say? Okay, so when you want to remove a background, like obviously something that's important is you have to outline what you want to stay or what you want to leave. And so we have different ways to outline the car. One is the pen tool I just showed you all. So we could click on the pen tool. If you click on the pen tool and right click, you will see there's a freeform pen tool. The freeform pen tool is exactly what it says, a freeform pen tool. So you just, if you could watch the car and outline it straight, or you have some, or you just good like that, then you could use the freeform pen tool and where you started and boom. But you know, not all of us have that gift that you might have. So I'll go through first the pen tool. Just for you all to get accustomed with the pen tool, we'll outline the car with the pen tool first. Then I'll show you all another way to outline the car. And then after that, I'll show you all the easiest way to outline the car. Obviously, the easiest way would be the quickest, but it wouldn't be the most accurate because, you know, it's kind of automatic-ish. So if once you all pull up the car, you all could, you know, zoom in and, oops, what's wrong? Yeah, you all zoom in and start with the pen tool and just outline the car. Remember the handles, and remember when you finish outlining the car, when you get back to the start, you need to close the loop so you end where you started. With time, you know, you will get better and we'll speed up. But yeah, so you all could start. We could start outlining the car. Everybody go and do this with me. Let me see if I have any comments. Make sure everybody on the same path. No, it's not. I don't know what we're talking about. Hopefully everyone has the car. So if everyone who has it could start outlining, the people who didn't get it, I wonder, I don't know what to say. So we'll start outlining the car, guys. Don't worry how fast or slow you do it, eventually with time we'll get better. Ooh, that means I had a point that I didn't take into consideration. So start, 1, 2. Don't forget the handles. You need to press Alt and remove it if you don't want it to affect your next line. I'm gonna move a little fast-ish. Because I've been given an easy job. Removing backgrounds is not the hardest thing to do in Photoshop. So I sure we should get through today with no problems. See all of the way. We get on by. If you hear me singing, just ignore it. No, we're not using the freeform pen tool. We're using the regular pen tool and clicking and drawing the lines like how I showed with the empty clear paper. We have red thing. All kind of thing for you. We have red thing. Yes, we have red thing. We have red thing. All kind of thing for you. When anybody finish outline the car, you could just drop it in the chat. Cause we get on about anywhere we go. Somebody message in the chat already. All it done? All it quicker than me? Oh no, nobody finished. Remember, you could zoom in even more if you want to get the lines as close as possible, outline as however you want it. But yeah, basically we just outlining this. I see messages in the chat, people finishing. That's what we like to see. Wait, we're not so finished. Wait, that line not going to be straight. But I mean, remember when you finish, close it off. Well, close off the cycle. I trying to move at a pace that I shouldn't finish before everybody, and everybody finishing before me instead. Pressure. We are real thing. I just going on close it off. Mightn't be the sharpest, but boom, so mine closed off. Everybody else, don't worry, don't worry. So let me zoom out. Oh shucks, no. Click on this right now. Let me zoom out. Right, so my car is outlined. After you outline, it have a couple things you could do to erase the background. So, well, firstly, you need to turn your outline into a selection. That was what we did with the kind of dotted lines that you'll end up seeing. So you right click and make selection. This is, you don't want a line too big, it doesn't matter. So you, boom, my car outlined with dotted lines, as you can see here. There's a couple of ways we could go from here. So the first is, let me just put this in the corner, right? One way. So the first way is to create a mask. So you just, if you just watch here, boom, the whole background just disappeared just like that. Let me undo. So you look for, if you don't have your tabs on your side open, you look for this one here, the layers tab, not tab, what they call it, and you click on it, and you go to the bottom. You would see your car here, which is the background, and you look for the icon that has a circle in it, not the one that's a circle, the one that is a circle, the one that has a circle in a rectangle, and you click it, and just like that, the background gone. This way it adds a mask to the image, so your image isn't damaged per se. Like, you could always right click and delete the mask. So your image is still there. The mask is something on top of it that removes the background. So if for whatever reason you want it back, you could go back. The points supposed to be blue. I'm not sure what exactly I mean with the points. How do you highlight the selection? After you close your loop, right click on the screen. So let me see if I can undo. Go back again. So this is my selection with a closed loop, right? And after that, I right click on the screen and you go to make selection. And after you do this, you can click OK, because this is not extremely important right now. And this is, you have the outline. Daniela can't missing pieces. Wait. I'm not sure if the color of the points really shouldn't make a difference. It may be because of what laptop you're using or which edition of Photoshop or something. So yeah, that was I don't, anybody find that was hard? We make the selection and then we look down in the layers tab, which would be, if you don't already have it open, on the right side of your screen. If you hover over it, you'll see layers, but it looks like, two squares. And yeah, just create a mask and your background going. Like Chevelle say, easy thing. This was easy. Yeah, exactly. The part that would be the difficult part is outlining it. This is with the pen tool, because but as I said, once you keep doing it, you'll get comfortable with it. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is delete the mask. Oh no, not delete. Don't delete the mask. You could undo and get back your outline. I was going to make your re-outline it again, but instead you could just undo and have your outline of the car here. And now I'll show you all the other way. If everybody get with the undo, remember you could go here to undo, or you could use the shortcut that you will see on the side here. Learning the, as I said, learning the shortcuts is easier because you know you don't have to hover your mouse around and keep looking, and it essentially just makes it easier. So what we're going to do now is actually delete the background, right? So in deleting the background now, okay, first, so what we have highlighted here, if if I just ask you, what do we circle? What is in the selection? You would say the car, right? Because you know we outlined the car. The car is what is in the selection. So in order to delete the background, you can't just press delete. I mean, you could press delete, but you know, we'll end up deleting the wrong thing because we have the car circled, and you don't want to delete the car because the car is what you want. So what we could do now is go to select, which is on top of your screen, and inverse select. As I said and keep saying and will keep saying, you can learn the shortcuts, but this is not one that you might use every minute. So, you know, inverse select. And when you click inverse select, you would see that along with the outline of the car, there's an outline around the whole picture, the whole image. And that's because the you selected the inverse of what you just circled. Cool thing about this. So now we're going to use, wait, first I could say you could press backspace or delete and just try delete. This will pop up on your screen, and you know, you click a color. Let's say I click white, I click black, and it will just delete. But everyone saw that, right? This is one way, obviously. It's an easy way. But even in doing that, no. What I did was press delete, like backspace on my keyboard. After having the inverse selected, I clicked backspace on my keyboard, and this popped up because I have to fill it with something, and I click black and okay, and now I have the car and a black background. This is all well and good, you know, it's normal, but I'll find a tool to show you all. So now we're going to use the eraser tool. We're going to use first well, I'll show you all the different eraser tools. I'll show you all the background eraser tool on the other image after the car. And I'll show you all so the first eraser tool, kind of lost. How we lost? Where we lost? After I selected the car, which all of us threw out, then we went to select and inverse select. Then after we inverse select, I just press backspace on my keyboard, which deletes, and then clicked black and ended up with everything except the car black. Hope we're following there. Now what I'm going to do is look for the eraser tool. If you hover over these things, you will see the name and well, so eraser tool. In order to increase the size of the brush or the tool, you can use the, what's the name of it? The brackets, the bracket function. Instead of going up here and you know increasing the size manually, if you see the size of my eraser is getting bigger. So what you can do is come here and increase the size. So now I have a big eraser. Wow, it's too big for the screen. Or if I come here, you'd see my eraser size is changing. So I have my eraser tool. If I erase, if you realize after I erase, right, even though I come on top of the car and try to erase it, because the car is not selected, it wouldn't erase. So I could only erase what is selected. I mean, now it seems like we're just changing the background from black to white, but essentially, this is how you could use the eraser tool instead of the just backspacing. So after you have your inverse selection, you could just erase, and you don't have to worry about erasing what you have want to keep because it's not selected. We all see that. The other eraser, if you realize there's 3 erasers, the third one is the magic eraser. The magic eraser is it's magical. It just erases everything of a specific color. So before I use the magic eraser, before we go on to use the magic eraser, we will deselect. So if you realize, and if you watch the screen, you'd realize it still has, the dotted lines surrounding the selection. So what I do is go to select, which is on top of the screen, and click deselect. So car is deselected. So now the magic eraser is magical. Boom. You all might say that went too fast, but it's because I literally just use the magic eraser, which is here. The magic eraser, what it does is erases everything of the color of the points that you touch it. So if I click here, it would erase the red that was touching there. I mean, I don't want to do that, so I'll undo. What we want to erase is the background, of course, which is the white. So if you click the magic eraser on the white, you realize the background is gone. And well, you all may have realized that there's a kind of gray and white dotted kind of mat. That just means nothing. It's empty, it's an empty space. So what we have right now is our car. The background is gone. If you go to the arrow tool, you can move your car and you realize we just have a car. So I could put this car on any image and it will just be the car. If anybody have, let me just recap the tools that we use. We use the pen tool to highlight the car. We had the option of using the mask, which after we selected the car, we could just click the mask and the background would disappear. Or we could have inverse select and select everything except the car, use the eraser tool, erase everything, and then we use the magic eraser to erase that one color and have the car. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if to tell you all to exit off or if to undo. So you'll get X off the car, don't save it, just exit off. And then, oh gosh, why I saving? I tell you all do save and then I save. X off the car, don't save. And reopen the car because we're going to use the car one more time. If you feel comfortable and you could just backspace all the way to the start, then you could do that. Let me backspace. Back, undo to the start, then feel free. What I'm going to show you all now is how to use another selection tool other than the pen tool. So, no questions in the chat, right? Everybody following? The other tool, before I go to the easiest tool, I go into the lasso tool and you right click. And the third lasso tool is the magnetic lasso tool. Everybody find that? Just type 1 in the chat when you find the magnetic lasso tool. Julia find it. Look, 1's coming in. Right, so the magnetic lasso tool, it kind of, for the people who just can't outline and draw and get it exact, the magnetic lasso tool kind of helps. So you press the start. So let's say I click here, and then all I'm doing is dragging my cursor along the car, and the magnetic lasso tool will pick up the boundaries and just outline the car using magical Photoshop powers. So all I'm doing is, oh, let me undo. Let me just delete. yeah, the magic lasso tool is just, oops, my mistake. Here what I go and do, I don't like mistake, so I just go in and close off that, and then cancel, deselect, and start over. So we could use the magnetic lasso tool, which is way quicker than the first one. But the first tool like is important that you understand how to use it because you could use it for other things. So I'm outlining my car. This is by far quicker, as we could see, using the magical power of Photoshop. God, sorry guys, my screen is giving a little problem. Toggle H, all right. Just had to go and remember a shortcut because it wasn't working for me. Um, Anyway, so you all outline your car. I surely do that already. I just stick in. But it's okay. As I said, with the it wouldn't be as accurate, but I guess it would depend on what you want to do. You would know how much accuracy you would need. You see, so it's not picking up the bottom line here, if you realize. Or maybe this is just on mine, but and then you close off. And the good thing about this one is that it changes star selection one time. And as I said, it wouldn't be as accurate as, drawing it out with the pen tool. But as you can see, it happens way quicker. And now we could go over the tools that we used the first time, which was to apply a mask and boom, your background disappears. Or we could follow the steps. And we use the eraser. If I use eraser, what would happen? Let me see if you're paying attention. If I use eraser right now and try to erase, what would I end up erasing? You could try to drop it in the chat. Ah, yes, the car. And we don't want to erase the car. So, exactly. We have to inverse select and then boom. We have thing. We have real thing. All kind of thing. We have real thing. Yes, we have real thing. After we inverse select, then we deselect. Then we go to use the magic eraser and boom, we end up with our car. As I said, this one wasn't as accurate, so my car looking choppy. I probably get an accident or something, but yeah. So that was simple. Everybody, I sure get that. You could save your car because I know people want to keep the car that they outline. But the next image we're going to use is the image of this lady here. As I say, I like to I do like to have the floating tabs, so I just put it into. But open this document, people. If y'all didn't see me exo or save or anything, it's because I didn't move the car tab. I just opened up the new one. And watch this. If I move my car onto the first one, you will realize that the car is there with no background. So essentially, it worked. We got rid of the background. But just open up this lady. Just when you finish, open up the lady, just drop a 1 in the chat so I would know and know that I can move on. So this tool here, this is even quicker than the magnetic tool that I showed you all just now. And you could have used it for the car. We're not going to use it for this one, but I'm just going to show you all how to use it. And look at here, if you go and hover, you would see quick selection tool. And that does exactly what it says, quick select. So if I select here, it selects. And it tries to draw boundaries as good as possible. And it makes a selection one time. So if you watch this here, you'll realize that selection was done even faster than the magnetic lasso tool. And this would have worked on the car probably perfectly, maybe not, maybe. As I say, you have to try, or you need to judge for yourself and see which tool you would want to use for a particular image. I'm just gonna click here to show you all something. When using this magic selection tool, which is here, that we clicked, the shortcut is W. So if you click something that you don't want in your selection, what you do is, oh my God, my keyboard, oh gosh. Select here again. You have a tool outside. Right, so what I'm going to do is, if you watch inside of my magic selection tool, you'll see there's a plus, which means add to the selection. If I click Alt on my keyboard, you'll see it changes to a minus, and that will take out from the selection. So that's just something to know. The selection tool is even faster than the magnetic lasso tool. So when you had the car just now, you could have take your magic selection tool and just click it. And then deselect what you don't want by pressing Alt and getting the inverse of it to deselect. The other way to do it is by going to the top of the screen here and clicking minus. Well, the one with the minus. Deselect, go back to this. So we actually don't want to highlight this lady with using the magic selection tool. So I will deselect, and you all could deselect too. What is different between this image and the image of the car is that, well, for one, there's hair. And if you outline, you want to delete a background from somebody with hair, you don't want the hair to look choppy or how parts of the car looked. So I'll do open up my layers tool. Everybody do that. And I right click and duplicate layer. I'll name this layer lady with the hair. And we have this layer of the lady with the hair. What I hope everybody saw that we just duplicated the layer. It will look like nothing has happened, but if you watch here, you'll see two layers. And now I'm going to use the tool. On the bottom, there's a circle with like a black and white circle. This is a create new fill adjustment layer. You click on this and go to solid color. I hope everyone is seeing this. And click a bright color, something real bright, something that will stand out. So I choose in this orange because that's real bright. And after I choose this orange, I carry my cursor to the layers tabs, and I move this to below the lady with the hair. So the lady with the hair is back on top, and you're not seeing the orange. Hope everyone get that. Everybody know what's going on, right? Just say yes in the chat or drop a 1 or something, so I know that I haven't lost anyone. That Alia said, wait. Everybody know what? To over the color. All right, so the lady with the hair. We go to the bottom of the tab here, which is, you would find it when you go to the layers panel and go to the bottom. There's not the mask tool that we just used, the one next to it. Create a new fill layer, and you go to the top and click solid color. Click something extremely bright that you will see, and okay, then you move it to below the lady so it disappears. It's like it's not even there. And if you were paying attention, you will see that we used 2 of the 3 eraser tools. The next tool is the background eraser tool. Oh, before using the background eraser tool, you have to make sure and click on the layer with the lady, because if I click on my fill layer, if you watch, I click the eraser tool, you would see that it can't work. If I click it, you'll see that an error pops up. So make sure you click on the layer with the lady, and boom. So we have the eraser tool, background eraser tool, not magic eraser tool, and we have it selected. Look to the top of your screen and you would see different options. So I'll show you what this is sampling continuous. What this means is that when you click, it keeps sampling. And if you realize, as I drag the eraser, you see in the color that I put below. So it looks like if I graffiti in the woman. The color below is so that you could see and you could tell what exactly you have erased, and you can see properly and know where you need to make more changes. So seeing that the background is one color, or seemingly, you click on the sampling once. So when you sample once, it samples the first place you click, and then as you drag, it doesn't sample anymore. So if you watch, as I drag along in her clothes, on her face, well, on her face it has similar color, but on her clothes, it doesn't erase because it's not the same color, and the tool only samples the first point that I touch. If I select a color like her eye color, if you watch, if I go here, it would erase her eye, but not her face, because it samples once. Oops, redo. So now we're going on erase. Oh no, first one more thing to show you, tolerance. Tolerance is how much, or basically tolerance. And you could play with this to see how much you want, but the higher it is, so let's say if my tolerance is high, I would erase anything similar any kind of way. So you don't really want to use this, at least in this case, because you don't want to erase like that. So you would set the tolerance to maybe something lower. What I had it on was like 20 or 30, I can't remember. So let's say 20. And so boom. Now you could zoom in and erase along her hair. This is good because we want to erase, but we don't want. If you watch, you can see that her hair, it's not being erased. And I'm back. My Wi-Fi just dropped. Problems, you know it is. Everybody's still following. Let me get back the chat. So you'll erase by the time. Remember, set the tolerance to where you want it, sampling once, and erase. The color that we have in the background is so that you could see where it has been erased, and you could know. Yeah, guys. So that's my Wi-Fi, but I hope everybody going along. I'll zoom out and just try to speed up. Try to increase the tolerance a little bit. And you just try to get as much close to her as possible. The tolerance looks like it's working better around 26 at around 30. So you could raise yours to 30 and just outline oops. Have to load back for this point. Everybody getting through with the background eraser tool? Just drop a one in the chat to make sure you all not lost. If anybody lost, just tell me. Right. So erase, close, outline the hair. Can you go over the orange color? Okay, I will. But before I do, everybody else, so as you erase, after you erase the points closest to her and you get the hair and however you want, background eraser tool or the normal eraser tool and just erase everything else that's far that you don't need to keep. So let me go back to the color. I believe is that what you asked. So to choose, let me just delete my fill layer to show you all how to do it. So to get the color, what we do, we duplicate, well first we already duplicated the background and we go to the bottom here, which is in the layers tab on the side. So you find the layers tab, you go on the bottom, not the mask tool, there's a circle with like it's halfway shaded and halfway not. You click on it and go to solid color. Solid color, you choose a bright color, click OK. Then here you would have the color fill. And then you move that color fill behind the image and then, well, that's it. So then you go to the eraser tool and remember you have to click back on the image before you use the eraser tool. And then when you erase, you will get then you will get the color. So I will just do this quickly just because you know everybody else should have went through it. And after you do close to her body, then after that you use the normal magic eraser tool and erase everything else. What's the time? 1:54, 2:54. That's like an hour gone. So you're all good. My own wouldn't look as clean because right now I just rushed through that. But after you do that, then you use the regular eraser tool and erase everything else. Sorry, I'm trying to move the Zoom chat from right. So yeah, and shucks. Don't do what I just did, which is and erase everything else. This is to get, you know, textures like hair and other things that you may not want to just cut out sharply. Yes, we are melting. What to do? So if I hide and hide, you'll realize that the background has gone. Remember, I just rushed this one, so you know parts of her hand is erased, but you all will have to take your time. And so if I zoom in, you will see that her hair is still there. What I did to just show this was hide the two layers below. So that would have been the color fill layer. If you see the eye here, you could just click on it to not show that layer. But yeah, so essentially you remove the background from that. You could you can now either delete this layer if you want and unlock the background layer, and also delete it and only remain with the image that you had where you erased the background. And well, essentially we remove the background. We have our lady here with no background. Anybody have any questions? Oh, this was also simple. I think I get the easiest session to do because removing backgrounds not hard. And think so. Right, so I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. So y'all could save this if you want, but essentially, so you know how to, let me just recap what I did with this one. What we did first was duplicate the layer. So what we did was duplicate the background. Then after we duplicate the background, then we added the color fill, which we did by going here, boom, solid color, selecting a bright color. Then we use the background eraser tool, which is right click background eraser tool and erase the hair close, and then erase everything else using the regular eraser tool. And then, well, in order to get rid of the other parts, we deleted the face layer and deleted the color fill. And we have our lady with no background. And if you could see, if I move, she's here. If I put the lady on the car, you'll see that there's no background. Right, so make sure you have no questions, right? Y'all can open the next file, which would be the, what to do now, by how much time we have. I had another image which I wanted you all to use, but I guess we could use, how much time we have? Okay, so I'll go to the, look for the image with the, let me just click on it so you all would see which one I'm talking about. Open this one here. These things that I'm going to show you all now, it's fast. We could do this quickly. And after we do what I'm going to show you, then I'll show you all a fun application of it. And yeah, so everybody, when you get this image up, just drop a 1 in the chat so I will know and we could proceed. This is the image with well, that you're all seeing on your screen. I've seen a few ones and have plenty people on this live, and I'm seeing 3 ones. So I guess I had to wait a little bit. So let me just talk while we're waiting. If you watch this, obviously I'm not going to remove something from the background because, I mean, what do I want to remove? So instead, what we're going to do is move something from the foreground and keep the background. So let me say I look plenty ones, right? Let me say I don't like how this explore the way looking, so I don't want to see it. Just because I don't like the font. I find they could have do better than that. But we can't do this using any of the tools we used before because as you see, when we did that, we ended up with a blank space or a solid color. So what we're going to do now is delete foreground and keep the background. And we're using this magic thing that Photoshop has that just does all the work for you. So we're going back to the pen tool. Yes, the dreaded pen tool that we first learned. Normal, regular pen tool. But it's okay. This time, we're not outlining every single thing. We're not even going too close. We simply clicking around what we want to remove. The letters kind of close together. So what I will do is just show you. So we're not clicking too close, but we're not clicking too far. So we just circling this essentially. You all could start using straight lines because the lines don't matter. We circling the explore the wheel. I haven't tried this on this image, so I'm not sure how good it would look, but this is the tool on how to use it. Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. When you're finished, circle, explore the wheel. Just drop a one in the chat so I would know, and then I'll show you all the next step. Really quick. That's easy. Are they using Photoshop a long time? I thought this was a beginner course. Right. So we have the explore the wheel selected. What I'm going to do is, as from the first image, after you have your selection or after you draw out your loop, you right click, make a selection. This, as I said, wouldn't matter to us right now. So now we have the dotted lines going around our selection. And now what we're doing? How to do this again? Dun, 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 dun. What we're going to use is something called content aware. So I'm going to press backspace on my keyboard. Maybe some of your keyboard have delete. Let me see if delete will also work. Delete, yeah, backspace or delete, and this pops up. It says fill, and you have use and they have options. In the use, you're going to click content aware. Mode, nothing, just use normal opacity 100%. So everybody see that content aware, and after you click OK, just wait on Photoshop to do the magic. Oh my God, it didn't work. But if you realize your word disappeared, this may have happened because, as you can see, it doesn't have enough like information to feed off of, and so it's in play. It puts parts of the background, but that's the tool to use. So what I'll do is undo, and instead of removing the explore the wheel, what we're going to do is remove this whole sign. Not seeing content away. Okay, so when after I circle this whole sign and we all get to circling this sign, we'll do the content away again. Undo, you could, well, it's not even undo, it's step backward, because if you click undo more than once, the first time you undo and then the second time it would undo your undo. So what you do is step backward, you could check edit, step backward, and it's there. Or you could use the shortcut Alt Control Z. This think it's because it's a later version. My version is not the latest. I think I'm using 2018. You'll have 2020. But that's no problem. I'll find it and show you. So let's highlight around this sign because we don't want this sign because we don't like it. We don't want any sign of humans because humans is just pollute the earth. So we wanted nature. Always remember to close the loop when you finish. And we're doing this fast. This could be done quickly because we're not really too concerned about how straight lines are and that. So I close my loop and let me see if I could find the way how version. So well, first let me right click and make selection. That should work in your vision also. And even though I use the shortcut, there should be a way to fill by looking for it. Layer, new fill layer, no. You sure when you right click, you're not seeing the content aware? When after you select and you make a selection, after you right click, oh, why is it not popping up now? We are balancing all kind of thing for you. I'm not sure why it didn't work or why it's not working anymore. It's not delete. Oh yeah. That didn't work for you. I'm trying to find the other way because you say it didn't work after pressing delete. Oh, that was Patrick. Patrick, are you seeing the content away now after you press delete? I click backspace. Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. Oh, all right, he's seeing it now. So content aware, mode normal, opacity normal, and Photoshop will do the work. As we can see, it doesn't work perfectly all the time. It may not work perfectly all the time, but that is the tool, and this is how you would use it. I'm going to use another image to show you all exactly, like, wait, let me see. First, we could do other ways, and then we could, have some fun with the tool. So since you all get the idea of it, I could just excerpt this, and you could go and click on the other image with open the other image with words, and it's kind of dark, somebody on the beach or something. This here. This is so you can get the practice. For this one, what we're going to do is, as you saw with the image before, the previous one, when you just select as much as possible, it doesn't necessarily work to the best of its ability. So what we're going to do for this one, and hope for the best, because you know the magic doesn't always work, and I'm using a 2018 version of Photoshop. The newer ones may work better, but so what we do now is we do each letter individually. So I go around the M, and you all, after opening up this image, do the same. Remember to close your loops before starting another loop. Make the selection before moving on to the other one. So I will have to do over my M. So after you close your loop, make selection and then move on to the other letter. Actually, I shouldn't have to do over my M because I could just click on it. You all remember how to make the selection, right? Right click, make selection, or go to the top. Oh my goodness, what is wrong? Hold on, guys. I'm having an issue. We go. Anybody, everybody getting through? Anybody getting through? Yes? Okay, good. I am really just going to. I have an older version of Photoshop than you all, so you all would work better than mine, and I save, use the magic selection. But remember, we don't want to select too close, but I guess the magic selection would work. If you finished, you could try using the content aware. So remember, you backspace and content fill and tell me if it works. But in using this tool, we're not removing a background, but rather we're removing something from the foreground and keeping the background. Let me know if it's working. Lol, it make the letter see through. Yep, exactly. That's what we want. The problem with this tool, as I was saying, is that we had to kind of depend on Photoshop to do the right thing. But as I said, with each edition of Photoshop, they get better, and they start making out the parts better, so it improves, and so you all should get through fine. Let's see my own. make selection, and then let me see. Boom. Voila. Oh shucks, I missed a whole with. But this is the tool we using the pen tool, because remember we just selecting. Yeah, we getting rid of the letters, we removing the letters from the foreground and keeping the background because we don't want the weights. Which tool is this? This is the pen tool, and just an application we use to get rid of the background because we don't want the background. The weights messing up the whatever. So I know I'm supposed to be showing you all how to remove the backgrounds alone, but as I show you all the background tools, I say, well, why not show you all how to remove something from the foreground, because we don't want it there. Content aware, not away. I remember seeing people say, what you do is after you make a selection, you delete. So you either press the delete button or the backspace button, and this will pop up. You will see foreground color, background color, color, content aware, that, and you click on content aware and okay, and we get rid of the weights. Select, deselect, and we have an image, no weights on it. Shakila, I hope I pronounced your name correct. Tell me if you see in the content aware now. Everybody getting through? So obviously this function is not only to use for weights. And so I see in our comments. When I click delete, it disappears completely. I wonder what could be the cause of that. All right, so let me see another way to do it. Sorry, I just moving the. Anybody else whole image disappearing when they press delete? So it's not working for some people. Let me see if I could find an other way to do it. The thing about Photoshop is that most of the times there's always another way to do something. So if that backspace isn't working, I'm sure I could find a way that it could work for you all. The space around my weights deletes. It should be on the top, edits, fill. All right, so go to the top of your screen. Instead of pressing delete, when you click, okay, yes, have a big white space. All right, so after you make a selection, go to the top, the ribbon, I believe it's called, and go to fill. When you see fill, you click fill, and then you should see the fill tab where you click content aware, and it works. So the people who backspace wasn't working, let me know if your fill. Go to edit on the top of the screen, fill, and then content aware, and let me know if it works. When you finish, just drop a 1 in the chat. And yeah, so as I was saying, obviously we're not going to just use this to remove weights. we know some people real, you know, it always have that one person who want a photo bomb your picture, or that one person who come the lime and they wasn't welcome. Well, we could remove them from our picture without having you know, a shaky crop that we do on Instagram or Snapchat using the sticker tool. So if you all want, as I say, you could save this. Remember to deselect. And here we have an image with no weeds. But yes, so open, and we're going to click on the image of the people taking a picture by, I believe it was a waterfall. Yeah. You all see in my image, right? I know I'm not sharing my full screen. You all see in the image of the water with the people in the waterfall taking a tool from before, and we're removing this little girl here because she was not supposed to be in the picture and she's spoiling the picture. Well, at least I find so. If all you want to move the lady taking the picture, you could try that. But so we could just kind of have a little fun. We're removing people from pictures now instead of removing the background from the people. Y'all remember what to do, right? So you use the pen tool or magic. Click this child because I don't like this child. Right, click, well, it's already a selection. So I do now edit, fill, content away. And just like that, deselect, the child is on. Could do it undo. I could do it again just to make sure it have no remnants of this child. So we get rid of the child from the picture because we didn't like the child. Everybody just let me know if that working. And if we see like, you know, a cool application, something that some people might use very often or not. That was quick. We do that real fast. Just drop a one in the chat after you remove somebody from the picture. Everybody getting through. I see in some ones. We get on bad anywhere we go. Anywhere that we go. We are things, we are real thing. I'll play no sing for you. Just ignore me singing, fellas and ladies. Let's like this part of the session going real fast because as I say, I just get the easiest things to do. File open. All right, so now we open in the scenery. It was the name of it is take in the scenery. Open the scenery and we put it here. Let me know when you all open up the scenery. Judah remove the people. Yeah, humans has spoiled everything. If I feel interpret. Yes, we are relative. Wait, got too big, yes? Anyway, let me go back. Everybody pull up the scenery. When you get up the scenery, just let me know. Right. It seems like everybody getting through. So you'll probably want to know what I going to do with this. Because it has nothing in the background to remove. And it has nobody in the foreground. So this tool is not removing the background necessarily or removing the foreground, but it could seem as though it's that way you're doing. And we're going to use a tool that we used earlier, which is the clipping mask. And it's just another way to apply the clipping mask, the same clipping mask that we use on the car, to do something else and to do interesting things. Like how you could remove the people using the content aware tool is another function of the same tool that you use for the clipping mask. So what we're going to do, I want you all to, let me see how to move these zoom things from on my screen. Let me put it in this corner here. All right. So what you're going to do, pull up the layers tab and duplicate the layer. When you duplicate the layer, you could call it whatever you want. Actually, call it process. So we have this duplicate layer, and hope everybody following. What we're going to do is the same thing that we did, well, at least for this step, for the lady. So the lady that we removed the background, I believe it was this lady, the same first steps that we used for that, we'll use for this. So we duplicate the image, then we go and create a solid color. Hope everyone remember how to make the solid color. But this time for the solid color, we could use something simple. We could use white or black or anything. So we have the solid color. Everybody should have that because it's simple steps and the steps that we used before. Now I move the layer with the solid color to above the background and below the other image. So now you should just be seeing the image again, but now you have 3 layers. And the white layer or the layer of the solid color that you put in should be in the middle of those. Then you go back to the top layer, you click on the top layer, and now what we're going to do is add text. I click on the text tool, increase this to the biggest size, and you all hear me? Yeah, okay. So we clicked on the text tool. I'm not sure if you all got that. And increase the size. Actually, it doesn't matter, but just increase the size on the font. And using the text tool, type PROSAZE. Just type down your screen. Let me know when you finish do that. So if you watch the layers tab, you will see that the text layer is above all. So you have 4 layers in total now with the text layer on top. And process it on in the middle of your screen. What we're going to do now is move the text layer below the image layer. So now you have the order of the layers is background, fill, text, and then the top. So you click on the top layer again. And I don't know if you all remembered, when we were using the car, the first tool we used was the clipping mask. We created a clipping mask. And I said that, it doesn't destroy the image or cut the image, it just adds something on top of it. So what we're going to do now is just that. Create clipping mask, which is on the bottom here. And it's, oops, why didn't that work? Let me, something is wrong. When you create clipping mask, boom, you now have the solid color that you chose and the weight below it. So the image goes into the weight in a type of way. I really should have used another color other than white. So maybe some of y'all who didn't choose white maybe getting through. But so yeah, we didn't remove the background from a word or put a word and then cut out the word on the background. Instead of doing that and spending all your time trying to cut out letters from a specific background and then paint it in the word, what we did was just that we put the fill color that we want the background to be, the text layer, then move it and apply the clipping mask. Okay, I will repeat. I'll actually go back because I don't like the black that the white that I have. So I actually go straight back. So the first step was to duplicate the layer. Background copy.
Give my phone. I'm talking.
That's okay. I guess that was an accident. Right. So duplicate the layer. Go to the bottom. Look for this icon here. Create solid layer, solid color, and I will choose black this time. Okay. Then I put this color fill below the image. So now the image is back on top. You're not seeing the color fill. Go back to the background copy. Click on the text. Use type what I have to type. And this layer is now on top. Now I put the text below the image but above the color fill. So now it disappears. And I click on the top layer. And then create clipping mask. To create clipping mask, oh no, okay, I understand. So if you use the clipping mask tool at the bottom here, for some reason it's not working. So instead you right click on the layer and create clipping mask. And then you have the image inside the weight. So you didn't delete the background or you didn't cut out letters onto the background, but you have the weights, the background in the weight. So manipulate this to sorry guys, my Wi-Fi is moving horribly right now. So yeah, we didn't cut out the words, we have the word, the image in the words, and in order to manipulate this, let me pull back up the chat box. So to change the size, so we click on the text layer and we go to the top, edit, free transform, and then as you can see we have handles and we could change the way, the size, and the words, how it is. And then enter, you have to click enter or the tick on the top of the screen to finish it. Just drop a 1 in the chat if you finish this and you use the tool and so how it's done. So yeah, even though this is not removing our background per se, or even removing the foreground, is using the same tools that you use to do that. Okay, I'm not seeing any ones in the chat. You all get through with this? Yeah. All right. People getting through. I just waiting to see some more ones, or maybe the ones were there when I cut off. So yeah, right now what we're going to do is I'm not going to tell you all what to do or which tools. I want you all to tell me which tools you all want to use to do whatever. All right. So let me know when you're ready. Open the last image, the one that we haven't used as yet. I believe it should only have one more. And it's a girl sitting in like a backyard. Let me just X off these. Lol. Anyway. Let me know when you all have up the image. So tell me, we want to remove the background from this. Which tools or which selections, what you all doing? What steps you all taking in order to do that? Could type it in the chat. Magic eraser. Not the magic eraser. Remember, the magic eraser selects everything of a certain color. So if I, oh wow, that actually worked pretty good. But yeah, not the magic eraser. You can, obviously, because all the eraser tools essentially do the same thing. The magic eraser is actually working surprisingly well. Any other answers? Anybody else? Wow, the magic eraser is actually working amazing. I didn't expect that to happen. I thought you would have had to do more work. Damn, that's crazy. Daniela is saying duplicate the layer. What else? So after you do that, let me just X up this, don't save, and open it back. You all had to tell me, you know. I asking you all what to do. Magic eraser was one answer, and it actually worked pretty good. I know nobody going to tell me the pen tool because you all just like me and we lazy. I listening to Daniela because she look like she going to give me step-by-step instructions. So I duplicate the layer. Well, what to do now? Anybody want to help her? Look, Daniela paying attention. She know what to do. Create a color fill and adjust it to the middle, right? What to do now? Daniela, you stop giving me instructions. Anybody? Anybody who is paying attention? Nobody, boy? Click on the top layer, right? Background eraser, exactly. It's not the magic eraser. We're using the background eraser. Remember, it has a difference. So, background eraser tool, I make it a little smaller, zoom in a little bit. This image is not the sharpest. So, we're using the background eraser. What about my tolerance on? 100? 20? 30? Somebody say 20, somebody say 30. So I go in and put 25. Okay, look, somebody else say 26 to 30. All right, so I go and put 30. Zoom in a little more. You all do it same time with me, or whichever tool you want to use, whichever one you find, if you think it might have an easier one than this. We have a little thing. Let me try. I hope all you're doing it too, and not just watching me. The point is not to see me do it, and the point is to do it so that you can get at it. Way or something like a maths teacher way. You should do it too. Don't just watch me do it. Oops. Hope everybody getting through. The bottom here, not too. So I find I do not get enough. What should I do now? What's the next step? Magic eraser, yeah. Actually, the next step is anyone, to be honest, that you would like. So I'll just use, it's just one of the erasers, I should say. So I'll use the magic eraser for parts, and then I'll use the eraser tool because it could help me. Remember, you could change the size of these. So your eraser tool could be small, like this, or it could be bigger. And you could use this by using the brackets on your keyboard or by going to the top and manipulating the size using a slider. So just erase the outside. I'm using the normal eraser tool because I want to make sure I get everything. And I'm not going too close because I already used the other tool, the background eraser tool for the close parts. So we have this. All right, so what to do now to see my wig? Like I find I see it in red and I wanted to remove the background and instead I end up with a red background. What to do now? Nobody? Okay, so after that, what I could do is just either hide the look, hide or remove the other layers. So what I would do is hide because I don't necessarily want to delete it. Hide the two background layers and I end up with my background erased. And obviously some of the bottom here is not done as clean, and that's because of how the grass was, and the image, how it wasn't as clean, that kind of stuff. So I remember, obviously, the higher the quality picture or whatever that you are using Photoshop on, the better Photoshop would operate on it. You can't expect Photoshop to work magics with a 2 megapixel picture. So I mean, you'll basically, that's all the tools there to remove backgrounds. Obviously, the same tools that I use to remove images, you could use it to remove text if text is what you want to stay on the image. I didn't really go through that because I'm not really sure of a situation where you would want to remove the background and just keep text when you could, just type text in a clear background. But instead, we could fill the text with the image. There's just a recap, what we did. So we fill text with the image. So we put the image into the text. We ran through deleting backgrounds using the clipping mask or, the multiple eraser tools. Remember, you could select using either, the pen tool and drawing it out, the magnetic lasso tool, or the quick selection tool. In most cases, people just use the quick selection tool because, quick, but obviously the more time you spend doing something, the sharper, the higher quality it is. So a pen tool drawing that you take your time on will always be cleaner than a magic lasso tool or a quick selection tool. Um, and for what else we did? The different eraser tools, the different selection tools. We went through some shortcuts that you should use and get familiar with. Yeah, and we went through the content aware, where we remove image from the foreground and keep what was there in the background. I just want to say, so the way how Photoshop is, right, it's made for you to be able to get through. Like it's not meant to be hard. The goal of it is for you to finish. It's designed with the intent of people being able to do designs, create images and whatever. So the user interface is very, the more you use it, the better you get it. The same way, the more you use your phone, the more you use Microsoft Word, the more you use Excel, the better you get it. The same thing with Photoshop. And also is a software that everyone globally uses. So if you go through this course right now, this session, you get a hang of it, and then you don't use Photoshop for, let me say, a year, you could always come back and refamiliarize yourself with Photoshop and still, be able to do it because it's a skill. You can't figure out how to ride a bike, you're not really going to figure out how to use Microsoft Word. You wouldn't necessarily figure out how to use Photoshop. It might have new tools that you want to get familiar with, but it's the same concepts. Just get familiar with the tools, practice, things like that. And one more thing, because it's a global software, because everyone uses it, it's not difficult to find stuff online. If you forget how to use the pen tool, you could Google how to use the pen tool. The same way when you're doing statistics and you're in class and you forget how to a function on Excel, you just Google how to use VLOOKUP or how to use, it's the same thing. You could do it for Photoshop. You just, once you get familiar with the software, um, you will always get through. If you all have any questions about what we did today, or even other questions related to Photoshop that may be related to removing backgrounds, you could ask in the chat right now. You could probably ask other questions too. I just don't wanna, go into something that might be done later on in the week. So you could feel free to send questions in the chat. just. And nobody have any questions? I guess it's because I had the easiest thing to do. Does Photoshop give us stock photos? How to answer this? The thing is, like other software, sometimes you could search for photos in the software itself. Like maybe if you're using something like, I don't know, a Spark Post or I don't know what people use post on my wall, you might be able to find stock photos searching in the software itself. To my knowledge, Photoshop doesn't do that. So you would have to find your images that you want to edit or want to use. Any questions? I'm watching people. I talking to myself long time, or they don't have any questions? No problem. Thanks, I appreciate it. So don't say you love me if you don't mean it. Cause I mean everything I said to you. Okay, well, I guess I have no questions. You already have no questions, right? Say, don't say you love me if you don't mean it. 'Cause I mean it. Nah. So when I doing like I just sing while I doing edits or while I even doing work, all them kind of thing. So that just there. Anybody who know me know that just happen. I must get part of the library a few times in cable for that. I guess if you all have no questions, we could go back to the host. Is she still here?
I'm here. I'm here.
Ah,
Okay. Thank you very much,
no
Asaze.
problem.
Yeah, it was really informative, and I'm sure everyone's clear. There are no questions, so I hope they are. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out to this afternoon session. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And remember to follow our pages. I posted it in the chat. Thank you very much to
Good
everyone.
luck. Anybody who has midterms going on, mid semesters all along these times. Good luck. I wish you all the best. Hope you're doing better than me.
Thank you, and same to you. Same to you.
Say, don't say you love me if you don't mean it. 'Cause I mean everything I say to you.